Welcome everybody to Nectar of the Pods. I am your host, Graveshift77, and with me today I have a special guest. We have the one, the only Bex. Bex, how are you doing this morning?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. I got some coffee. I got an amazing guest. We're going to be talking some really cool stuff about the art behind Alestrals. I am excited.
Me too. I love doing podcasts.
Oh yeah, podcasting is fun. It really is. It's ever since I started, it's been like one of my favorite things to do. So I'm just gonna start. We can how about doing an introduction? Would you like to introduce yourself? Tell the people about yourself a little bit.
Sure. So I am Bex, and I am a contractor working with the Alestrals team. My main task is to archive all of the art that our wonderful artists make, and I've had the opportunity as well to make a few cards of my own.
Awesome, and that includes the Shattered Stars Spark It alt art.
Yes, that was my first card.
That is amazing art. I really love it. I love the take because it's so different from the original art, but it's not crazy different. It's a different approach to Spark It.
Yeah, thank you.
I really loved it. Now it's probably my second favorite in the Shattered Stars month one, behind the Quackle.
The Quackle's pretty good.
I love the Quackle. But healing is just one of my favorite mechanics in Alestral, so I naturally just love the healing cards.
I don't have a particular favorite mechanic because I actually haven't really played the game. I'm here for the creatures.
Awesome. So that's actually cool because that was actually going to be one of my questions for you. Do you play Alestrals? Because I know you have the TCG helper role in the Discord, so...
I probably shouldn't.
I probably shouldn't.
No. Honestly, I probably shouldn't.
Have you dabbled in it? Have you played like at all, or?
I've played a couple of games with a friend on the app. Neither of us knew what we were doing. It was a little messy.
Oh, okay, I see.
I have so many cards though. I would like to learn. I gotta get some of my friends into it.
That's fair. That's fair. It's always the difficult thing is convincing your friends to hop on board a brand new TCG for sure.
Yeah.
I think Alestrals is appealing enough, though. I've actually convinced my cousin to pick it up, and maybe hit a couple of his buddies that he plays other TCGs with. So
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all word of mouth right now is really important.
Yeah, especially with them getting out to the LGSs. I think that's really huge, actually. Like
it is, yeah.
The fact that there's multiple LGSs already on board and Frostfall isn't even out yet.
Yeah, so I won't be able to share like actual hard numbers or anything from the business side, but we have had like a lot of stores sign up, and it's fantastic.
That's awesome, especially considering the whole like MetaZoo thing that went down.
For sure, yeah.
That game just kind of imploded, and apparently a bunch of LGSs lost a lot of money on that game. So
yeah, invested too hard.
Yeah,
totally understandable why they'd be hesitant to invest in another new thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
So soon after that.
I think it helps that A-Drive is already a very well-established name. And he has the numbers to back up what he's doing currently. So I definitely think that helps the push for sure. So how long have you been a part of the Alestrals team?
So I joined the Discord, the public Discord, like when everyone else did, like when the link first dropped. So end of July 2022, I want to say. And I started doing a fan wiki, and A-Drive approached me in, I want to say October, November, and said, hey, do you want to do this in like an official capacity and help run our website? And I said, hell yes.
You were like, absolutely. That's cool.
Absolutely.
So he reached out to you then?
He did. And he really liked what I was doing because he kept asking, like, can you work like more hours? Can I get you like for 40 or 60 hours a week? Because I was just helping out so much. It actually got to the point where in It's almost been a year. In May of last year, I quit my full-time retail job, and now I just do Elestrals full-time.
That is so cool.
Yeah.
Congratulations on that. That's like a huge opportunity.
It is. And it's basically the dream job, right? Like, I've always loved monster-style franchises like Pokemon, Digimon, the collection, monster collection thing. So like, what better job could there be?
Absolutely, especially as an artist too. Like I can imagine. Like I've dabbled in art a little bit. I never considered myself an artist per se. I can draw kind of, but not near to the level that you and the team can in Elestrals. So
Listen, we have some incredible artists. Like, they haven't had cards premiere yet. You'll see them in Daybreak, but it's incredible. It's incredible how much our art improves, and it's already so good.
yeah, like from the founders and even in the promos, like the card art was always really good. I'm new to Illustrals, but that was one of the things that I always it helped pull me into the game more, was just the art style of the cards, especially the full arts. The full arts are absolutely amazing.
They are.
And
we have some amazing full arts coming.
yeah, that's what A Drive has said, and I'm just over here super hesitant on it because I'm like, how can it get better?
Oh, it gets better.
But the reveal of the Locagon full art really made me a believer. I'm like, okay, yep, I believe it now.
That art is so good. That's one of my favorites, just because, kind of like you said about the artist collection before, it's just different. It's a different perspective. Cool.
Yeah, it's a different take with the artist's main drawing style, I guess is what you would say. Like their take.
I think it's a little more painty than the official style.
Yeah, because I would assume that A Drive has like these basic pictures or ideas that he shoots to you guys or the art team, and is like, this is kind of what I'm looking for, so on and so forth. I assume that's how it goes. Correct me if I'm wrong.
You mean in terms of just a card idea in general?
Yeah, like for creating the art behind the creature itself.
So all he really does is he'll have an idea, like, say, I'm trying to think of a good example. Say an oyster, and he'll approach one of our artists. I believe it was Amalri who designed Oysterist, and it's all up to the artist to do the design. And we have some incredible designers. Like, a lot of the art team were like fake mon artists, so they know what they're doing in that regard. Yeah,
that's actually smart to get like the fake mon artists behind it, because it kind of like it gives the familiarity of Pokemon, but it makes it different in Elestrals.
It's funny. There was a trending Twitter like post your fake mon, and A Drive tweeted, "Cool, a menu of new artists to hire."
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I really like the aspect of the art behind Elestrals, because like there's so many different styles behind the cards. Like it amazes me just the unique take that each artist has on each individual creature. Like I know I know that it's Daniel Reyes, right? He's the one that did like the spirit arts and most like Ambrosia and Nectar of the Gods, correct?
Yep, he is the art director. He designed all of the spirits and some of the early Elestrals, like the Nimbug line.
Got you. Okay, so that makes sense. So like you go and you look at his style and you can see his style, but the moment it changes to a different artist on a different Elestral, there's like a shift, and it gives a unique personality to that Elestral as compared to the ones done by, like Daniel. So
for sure. And like as the art goes forward, as we release new sets, I think you'll see that more and more. There is a style guide that we follow that Daniel Reyes designed for us. And the inspiration was actually the Pokemon home icons.
Interesting.
Yeah. It's just a nice, clean, soft shaded style. Nice and simple. Because if you go to like any of Dan Reyes's portfolio sites, you'll see his actual style is like hyper realistic monsters. So it's not so much based. Yes, yeah. So he's like way outside of what his fans probably would have expected from him. But it's great because it's one of those like easy to understand, difficult to master kind of styles. Like it's such a clean view. Let me see it. Let me open one here. One of his designs. So like Atlas, for example.
Mm-hmm.
It's clean. You can see all the important features of him. Nice, softly shaded. And then, you know, once we pass it on to other artists, like the full art one, that's where they can play around a little more. This one was by Johnny D. But having tried to make art with this style for the cards I have coming up, it's like there's a precision to it to make it to nail it just right, you know?
Right. That's actually incredible. That I love getting insight into like the art and like everything that goes into Elestral's behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Because me and I guess a general amount of the population of the guys that are on the Discord, a general amount of the community, we only just play and see the finished product. We don't really get much insight into like what goes on with the art. You know, we just see the finished product and we're like, oh, that's amazing. But it's really cool to get like this type of introspective into it. Like I really love that. That's awesome.
Yeah, and actually, one of the Kickstarter rewards from the initial Founders Edition Kickstarter was for us to put together an art book of the base set concepts and such.
Are you allowed to speak on that much?
I think at most I can just say it's still a little ways off. It's a lot of planning, and it's just about other things being a little higher priority right now.
That makes sense. But we are gonna get one eventually.
Yes, yeah. I promise we will get one. Yeah.
Awesome. I'm so excited for that. That's going to be like one of those things that I prominently display and go through because I'm really into that kind of stuff.
For sure. And yeah, it is going to be a physical book, and we work with a publisher, so they have the resources for us to get a nice print and everything. It's going to be really fun. Like there's so much concept work that you guys just haven't seen, even in base set alone. In fact, I had one up here to show you. So you told me earlier that Galaxy is your favorite Elestral, and that's why I'm painting him here.
He is indeed.
But here, this one. This was the initial concept by Bromo Jumbo, one of our artists.
Wow, that's so cool.
Yeah, so basically, A-Drive went to Bromo and said, because early on in the Elestral's concept, it was a lot more constellation based. That's why there's a lot of Elestrals based on like the zodiac and stuff. And
that makes sense.
And there's an excuse me, there's a constellation called Cetus, I believe, and it's the whale. So he approached him and said, "Can you design, a whale?" And this was the first take on it. It's pretty neat. And then this was the second take on it. You can see the different tail he had too at the time. And then culminating in the final art.
The final product. That's so cool.
Yeah.
I imagine that some are a little bit easier to nail down than others also as well.
Oh man, there's an Elestral coming up in Daybreak rather. I think it went through about, no exaggeration, 50 different iterations before we nailed it.
Wow. So it's kind of like the Funglow situation, Bronzaglow situation.
Yeah, that was one too. Yeah, for sure.
Because I loved seeing that when A-Drive finally revealed the cards. He was like, this card went through so many different baselines before we all finally landed on something. I was like, that is so crazy.
Yeah, and generally, when making a concept, kind of one artist takes over the whole design aspect, but a couple of them, like Funglow, and the one I mentioned for Daybreak, he'll pass it off to different artists if he's not really feeling it, just to see what their take on it might be.
Interesting. And then they can give their kind of perspective on it and maybe give like some feedback or criticisms that might, make it better, right?
Yeah. So we're in a Discord server, all the artists, and it's a very open space where we give each other feedback and share ideas and critique each other.
Which is very important, which is really important.
Absolutely.
I'm always a believer that, like, don't just tell me it's good just because you know me and just because you like me. Like, tell me what I need to do to improve. Like, if it is good, genuinely, sure, like, let me know. But, you know, if there's something that's bugging you that you need, that needs to be relayed to me, that way I can adjust, please give it to me. I love taking criticisms. Like, some people are afraid that people will take it wrong. I guess I'm a very big believer in constructive criticism.
I am too, and luckily a lot of our artists they're very professional about it, so they will take the critique into consideration and execute it if they agree that it's necessary. And that's been just amazing. So where I've done a few card arts that are coming up here soon, I needed a lot of help kind of getting the style down. And everyone was just honest, but so kind about it, you know?
Right. Which I always come back to this in Alestrals, just in general. And this is just me as an outsider coming in right when things are rolling in full swing. I've only been involved for a few months, you know.
Yeah.
Just the community that you guys have built is so amazing.
Absolutely.
And it's just one of the things that drew me in and got me hooked on Alestrals was just the gameplay. Yeah, it's fun. It's awesome. The card art's amazing, you know, that kind of thing. But the community helped to pull me in and really help me latch onto this to the point where, like, I'm making content on it at this point. I got to give, like, all the credit in the world to the community that you guys as the Alestrals team has built, because it is really hard to build a community that is as healthy, as nice, as welcoming as the Alestrals community is.
Oh, I know. I've been in some communities that were smaller and not as nice, but for a Discord server, which I think we're coming up on 12,000 members.
Yep, that's correct. I think y'all are a little under a little over 100 away from it, actually.
Cool. Yeah, for the amount of people that are there, so many of them are just cool and nice. And it's for the love of the game, right? Like, no one's going to alienate anyone else, because the more people get into it, the more people play.
Yes, absolutely. It's just so awesome. Like, the community here is just so welcoming, so inviting, so warm, so and like you said, they're really professional in the way that they give criticisms, even on the competitive side. Like I speak to the guys that I enter into the tournaments with, and, like, when I need help building a deck, they will tell me, okay, so here's what you have. What were you thinking when this and with this instead of adding this? And I'm like, oh, okay, I didn't actually think about that. And he's like, well, there you go. That'll help, you know. Or in the instance where, like, hey, so this play that you just made probably wasn't the best. Like, in this instance, this is probably what the more optimal play would be. And it's just, it's so reassuring to hear that and to know that there's a community like that, and that we have this bubble that we can go to where we feel comfortable, to where we know that no matter what, we're not going to be attacked for anything, you know?
For sure, yeah.
So that's awesome to know.
Our mods are great too.
Yeah,
so
the mods are amazing. Like Larry, Tyler, they're great. Yeah, and the TCG helpers as well. They're always more than willing to help. It's crazy to me because, like, there's even people like myself that aren't even listed as a TCG helper. We will go in and we will help new people, you know? The moment we see somebody says, hey, I'm new, I'm trying to learn the game, people like myself, like Matt, Brulock, others, we'll all just hop right in and be like, yo, man, we're down to help you. Let's help you learn this game. Let's get you started, you know?
For sure, yeah.
And that speaks volumes about a community that, like, it's not even our job, quote unquote, or role per se, but we're just happy to do it because we love this game so much and we want this game to grow.
Yeah, and we really appreciate that. Like, I know I do. Every time you guys have shown like such patience over delays and stuff too, like there's never been some kind of big server uprising demanding where's our cards just because things got delayed. Like, everyone's been really understanding, and like with some of the sorting issues in a couple packs,
that's been an issue. And honestly, like, and I've had this discussion with guys in the community that are complaining about it. I'm like, guys, you got to understand, like, they just changed manufacturers and things are barely getting off the ground. Like, there's this grand plan, but like, this is all brand new. Like, this is their first attempt at trying to get this product out. There's gonna be bumps, and they're gonna learn from those bumps and take any necessary steps that they can for it to be resolved as quickly as possible.
Absolutely.
And like, I feel for A-Drive because of the whole sorting issue and the clumping issue, because like, I know that he's upset about it more than anybody. More than anybody, it probably bothers him the most. And that's what I try to kind of give that kind of perspective to people, because I understand as a consumer, it's not what you want from a product, but it's just like, man, this is a brand new thing. They're just learning. Like, this is barely taking off. There's going to be bumps. There's going to be hiccups. They're going to learn from it. And later down the line, because they learned from it early on, it's going to help them in the long run.
It's been really useful to be able to kind of build off the backs of giants like Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh! And stuff.
Yes.
But there are these things in the manufacturing process that you're just not prepared for. And it is a learning process. And thankfully, we got a publisher, so now A-Drive doesn't have to stay up till 3 a.m. to talk to someone in China and hope that they understand what he's asking for.
That is so awesome. I'm always, because in the he live streamed the last webcam tournament, and during one of the breaks between brackets, he was asked what a day in the life of A-Drive looks like, and he was like, so I start by doing this, normally this, and then sometimes this pops in and I have to cover this, and I'm doing all this, and I'm just like, wow, man, like, this guy is so committed to his craft and to what he's creating, and like, it's insane to me that the amount of work and effort that he puts into it definitely shows, and I have all the respect in the world for that man. And he's also genuinely one of the nicest dudes out there as well.
He is, it's true. Yeah, like, I can attest to that as well. He's just working on things constantly. He wants to be, like, he's the CEO.
Yeah.
The CEO can just delegate, right? But he doesn't do that. He wants to be involved with every step of it. So he's involved in approving all the art. He's involved in making the card effects. He's involved in talking to the manufacturers. Everything. He's involved.
He's involved at every step. And I feel like that's why this game has become as successful as it has been. And it's just, he's just so, I really respect him for being able to keep that schedule and be like, yo, even though I could just delegate this to somebody else, which I am going to, because, you know, he does need his time off. He's got his wife and kids, you know? I don't know. It's just, it's insane to me to think that he has all of this going on and people are still upset with him for like stuff like the clumping issue, you know?
Yeah.
Even though he's working his ass off just to make sure that it gets fixed, gets situated, and doesn't happen again, you know?
Definitely. Like, this guy works, I think he works 12-hour days almost every single day. And he wants this game to be great. He wants it to last for years. So he is going to address these issues whenever he's able to. Some things are always just going to be outside of your control, but whatever he can control, he's gonna control it.
Yeah, absolutely. And he's stated that as well.
Yeah.
His interactions with everybody on the Discord as well, just really, every time I see him post, whether it be jokingly or whether it be updating us on what's going on, I'm just like, that is insane to me, because most CEOs or owners of like companies,
Yeah.
TCG, video game, mind you, they're not going to be the person that's like, yo, this is what's happening.
Yeah.
They're just gonna brush it off and let it happen. No. Every step of the way, he is updating everybody about what is going on. And I
Yeah.
really, really love that. Like
Yeah.
it gets me more hyped for the game because I know what's going on. And I'm like, okay, this makes sense. This is why this is delayed so long. And then we get the what is it? The is it the Urscope 2023 holiday
Yeah.
card?
Yeah.
I can't remember which Ursa it is, but
It's Abominursa, yeah.
Abominursa, there you go.
Oops.
I love that he made a joke about it though, and he's like, no, we realize this, so this is why you're getting 2 promos, 2.
Exactly, yeah.
Because we're so delayed in that aspect. I love that. It's so awesome. It was necessary though. I do feel like the change of manufacturers definitely will benefit in the long haul because
I agree.
the quality of everything is just so much better in my opinion. Like there's other people that say they don't really see a difference. I do. I definitely can see the quality has gone up tremendously. It's
I'll see
phenomenal.
I'll see people on, YouTube or Twitter trying to disparage the game and saying, "Oh, the card quality is trash." And it's like, did you print it off on regular printer paper to decide that? Because our card quality is kind of amazing.
Y'all's card quality is like the best in the game. Like I played Yu-Gi-Oh, I played MTG, and like I felt those cards. I've held those cards. I've played with those cards.
Yeah,
They do not compare to the Elestral's card stock and feel. It's just so it just feels durable. It feels strong. It feels they're just really really good to hold. They feel really nice.
they do. I'm
Even
really glad
sleeved
to.
up.
I'm really glad too that with our new manufacturer, the colors improved. So now you can see the art.
Yes, that was another thing that I noticed just based off of comparing like especially the hollows. You can see the backgrounds of those hollows so much better in the first edition compared to the founders.
It's even in the packaging. I noticed when I was
Yeah.
opening the
The,
starter decks, if you look at the prototype, or rather Founders Majesty
yeah,
versus the base set of first edition Majesty, it's like night and day.
it really is. The color pop is tremendous. You can it does more justice to the artists in my opinion.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you can actually see more detail of what's going on because of the different I guess what is it, shade that they used, shading
Uh,
or hue,
Shading, color, hue.
whatever it is. Like it's brighter, it's more vibrant, you can see things better. It's so awesome.
Yeah.
So I want to ask, just outside of the Alestrals talk. How long have you been an artist? Has that always been something that you've been passionate about? Did you know you were going to be an artist growing up?
I've always drawn since I was, little. Just loved drawing animals most of all. And then, things like Pokemon came along, loved drawing those creatures.
Yeah.
It's just always been something I've done. It's second nature. All my school books just had doodles all through them. I mean, I never dreamed I'd be able to actually do something like this in a professional capacity. Like, that's amazing. And I got to tell you, so I didn't go to art school or anything. Just it's a hard career to pursue.
Yeah.
There's a reason starving artist is a stereotype.
Mm-hmm.
But just being on the team of artists for the short span of time that I have for free, in fact, I'm getting paid for it, right? I have learned so much, and my art has leveled up like tenfold.
See, that's incredible too, because like it's just one of those things where like, do you pursue it like at an educational level to kind of learn more in depth? Do you just go from experience and like just practice? It's kind of the same with like, because me, I this is so hard to say. I was a musician. Yeah, I used to be in a band, and like I always wanted to pursue music growing up, and I was in a few bands, but one actually we actually got rolling and had some steam in our area and made a real big
Nice.
name for ourselves. That isn't one of those things. So I understand it from that artist perspective, because music is like a
Yeah.
different type of art compared to like just drawing and painting and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But it's the same, that same realm where like it's just so hard to make a career out of it and to be able to do it to that extent.
Like there's a degree of almost luck to it, right? Like if I
Yeah.
like here's part of my story. Why I was so I had so much brain rot about Alestrals when it first came out. So I worked a full-time retail job at the time, but I actually was going through carpal tunnel surgery on both my hands. So I was on leave.
Oh
So I had nothing to
wow.
do. I had nothing to do, and then A Drive just drops this saying, "Oh, here's something I can hyper focus on," and I did. And it's just the stars aligning, you know?
Right. Like so you were recovering from your surgery anyways, and then you get this huge opportunity and like you're able to capitalize on it and just kind of dial in and focus in, and
Yeah.
it led to a job, a potential career, cuz Alestrals, if it succeeds the way I am predicting it will, this is you're on the team. Like you're there.
Yeah.
You're going to be there for years to come, and that's incredible.
I would love to just be with Alestrals for as long as I can be.
Yeah, absolutely. It can change. It all depends. Time happens, other things
Yeah.
pop up, some things might happen. You never know. But the thought of it and the sheer enjoyment that I'm just hearing from your voice talking about it just sounds like you've got an incredible job that you're in love with, and that is amazing.
And it's not even just the art. I think I mentioned I do the archiving of
Right.
all the artwork that the that the team does. I just love doing that kind of thing, just organizing. I love me a good Excel sheet.
Nice.
Um, like making the wiki was something I was just doing for fun. And now I'm just doing that for money.
There you go. Like it's crazy.
And like I gotta say, like never let an opportunity like that pass you by. So, A Drive wanted me to
Say
work
it loud for the
more
people in the
hours.
back.
Yeah. Do not let a golden opportunity pass you by. Seriously. I was working this soul crushing retail job when A Drive was saying, "Can you work a few more hours? Can you work a few more hours?" It got to the point where I was trying to think, okay, how can I make this work? If I go down to part time at my job and supplement my income with Electrals, and then I was talking with my supervisor about it, and it was just like, it just hit me like a bolt. Like, I got to quit this job. I got to put everything into this. And I have not
take that
regretted
gamble
it
on
for a
yourself.
minute.
Yeah, there you go. Take the gamble on yourself and it pays off. Now you're working full time for Alestrals. You, like you said, get to kind of make your own hours, and do your own
And
thing. And it's
I'm so happy, you know?
yeah, exactly. Like, and in the long run, all that matters is your happiness.
Yeah.
Like, if you're, even if you're making suboptimal pay, if you're happier at the suboptimal pay job than you are at the other job you were working, that's better for, in my opinion. Other people might have differing opinions on it. It's all subjective.
Your health is everything, and if you're at a soul-crushing job, that's not good for your health, your mental health,
Yeah.
it's not good for you. Like, I was going through some really bad mental issues by the time I went through by the time I quit my retail job, and it's been so much better. And it's funny that you say, even for suboptimal pay, I have to say, I worked for one of the most I worked for Home Depot, and they're a very successful retailer, especially like with the housing market.
Yeah.
And I was actually working at the most like successful store, Home Depot store in the entire company. So this is a strong company. And then A Drive comes along with his little independent startup and says, "What if I pay you twice as much?"
Wow.
And he does.
That is incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
it's
like, how could I
crazy.
say no?
It's yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's crazy how that works out. It's crazy the opportunity that presented itself, and like such a small startup was able to basically compensate you for the hard work that you're putting into the company, and that it pay you more than the multi-billion-dollar corporation. It's wild. It's absolutely
Yeah.
wild.
And like, granted, I'm a contractor, so I don't get health benefits, but let me tell you, working at my retail job, I needed those health benefits because my mental state was just crumbling. I needed the time off. I needed the therapy that they paid for,
Yeah.
but I don't need that anymore. Like,
And
I still
that's
have my off days, but it's not to the point where I can't function because I'm just so stressed about the next day.
absolutely. And I'm sure y'all have deadlines and stuff too,
Oh,
but
yeah.
I mean, it seems like y'all have a really close and personal relationship with each other, and it's really healthy, and like nobody gets trashed on or anything like that. It sounds like it's a really comfortable work environment, and like that's all that matters.
For sure. And me too. I've always been an introverted person, so being able to work like from home on
Yeah,
my computer, that's
same.
been great too.
That's a reason I'm kind of chasing this. I know that this is going to be kind of a stretch to try and make any kind of income off of just the
Yeah.
content creation portion. It's
You
gonna,
have to try though.
yeah,
You have to try.
absolutely, because I'm loving this. Like the sheer joy that I get from the game of Alestrals, and from like doing the content creation portion, like this, the podcasting, the deck profile videos, the talk videos, whatever it is, the pack openings, it's just
Yeah.
the sheer excitement and joy I get off of it. It's just it doesn't compare to anything, and I'm getting my return and investment to the game through that.
Yeah.
So like that's all that matters. And the guys at the TCG Dome, when I talked to them, they said something that's really kind of struck a chord with me, because it's I kind of wound up doing that without even thinking about that. Was if we're gonna invest this much time into this game, why not do something with it? You know,
Yeah.
why not just make the content? Why not put in that little extra work? Because we're already getting back what we want, what we put in. You know,
Yeah. And it's good for the product too, because right now it's very grassroots. So any positive content made is good for, the brand.
absolutely. And that's another reason. Like I wanted to kind of do this to kind of just like I noticed like there's not enough people making the content. There's a very select few of us out there that is actually covering this game like in
Yeah.
full, because there are content creators out there that have like made videos on it, but it's not like
Yeah.
they're every video post is about this game.
Yeah.
It's like there's very few of us that are strictly Alestrals based, and it's really exciting to me to think about like just being here at, like you said, the grassroots level, right at the
Hmm.
very start of it, and being able to be a part of like helping this game grow.
Exactly. Everything you do, everything the community does, it helps the game to grow.
And
We couldn't do it without you guys.
well, thank you. I feel like we
Yeah.
wouldn't be anywhere without you guys, but
Yeah.
we,
It's symbiotic.
it's all we're all cogs in the machine. We're all cogs in the
Yeah.
machine. We all help push the Alestrals train forward with the coal. We're all pieces of coal being thrown into the furnace, getting the train moving,
Yeah.
That was a crazy reference. I don't even know why I thought about that. Coal
No,
in
I
the
mean, it's
furnace of
true.
coal in the furnace of a train. That's what we are. We're just pieces of coal.
Disposable. Vital. I will not throw you guys into a fire.
Please don't. I
I
wouldn't like that.
I can't speak for some of the other crew members, but I won't throw you in a fire.
Well, Larry seems like he might do it.
He might.
Oh man. So moving on, do you have a favorite card, like absolute favorite card in Alestrals or Alestral? We'll kind of subcategorize it, because there's definitely favorite cards that you could play, but there's also like, of course, the favorite Alestrals.
So my favorite Alestral, and I would pull up a picture on my screen, except that so many leaks would happen if I went through my folders, is
Gotcha.
Smokey.
Smokey.
Yeah. I love sheep. I love goats. Actually, one of the first critiques I gave when I got into the art server was on the Stellar Volcaries. His teeth weren't right. Goats have really specific teeth that really give them that goatee look.
Mm-hmm.
And so I said, you got to fix these teeth. And that was kind of my first visual contribution, was just giving that critique.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Smokey is a cute little guy, though.
He's so baby.
Yeah.
Smokey's one too. Whenever we do an art book for Frostfall, you'll see Smokey went through a few iterations too.
Oh wow, okay.
I think like 3 where we designed both stages of the line. And then we hired Moms or Mounds, I'm not sure how it's actually pronounced. He's fantastic. He is new as of Frostfall, and he's just such a great designer, makes such clean art. Like, he was a catch. It's like that we got him, we're so lucky. And he finally was the one to make Smokey work.
That's awesome. And I bet, like, especially the polar opposite of its Nexus form, which is foamy. Yeah. So yeah. I imagine that was really hard to translate from an underwater like sheep into like a volcanic sheep, you know, like a more ground level land based sheep. So that's incredible.
Yeah, I think he might have actually been the only one who who approached the little baubles on his side like that, like the water nexus has the bubbles there, and he gave him little fireballs on his side, and that really ties it together.
Yeah, for sure. I think I interpret it as like kind of like a gemstone.
Yeah.
That's the way I interpreted it. But
yeah.
That's awesome. Oh, I was low key expecting you to say Spark It.
everyone thinks it's Spark It. Spark It was just that
was your baby.
That was my first card. I'm very proud of it. Once you see some other cards for me, I might change my profile picture. But what it was when Shattered Stars was first being planned out, kind of at the last minute, A-Drive decided to increase the number of cards in the pack, so we just posted in the art server, who's available to draw an Alestral? And I said, me! And he said, okay, who do you want from this list? And I picked Spark It.
Nice. Yeah, for me, it's Galaxy. That may change. But currently Galaxy was just the boy that I latched onto, because through playing, when I first started playing the game, I tried out Earth, I tried a little bit of Thunder, I tried a little bit of Fire, I tried it all.
Yeah.
And then when I was going through Water, I just love Galaxy and its design, because I'm all about like the astrology, like the stars and just outer space. I love that, just the beautiful landscape and picture that can be painted with like the stars and like the colors of like nebulas and stuff. The moment I saw Galaxy and actually like started reading the card, I was like, oh, that's so cool. So he's technically a 5 attacker. And I was like, that's actually pretty huge. And it can work with other cards, which Water is basically more defensive. So it basically turns Water from defensive into offense. And one of my favorite sayings is always, the best offense is a good defense.
Yeah.
And that Galaxy basically defines that saying. So Galaxy, just my pet card. I love Galaxy. I've kind of started moving away from it, deck building a little bit, just trying to experiment a little bit more. But Galaxy is always going to be a pet card. Currently, though,
will always be your boy.
Yeah, currently though, the reveal of Whale Lance kind of had me hype. I was like, whoa, okay, Whale Lance is kind of dope, because Norwals are really cool. And I was like, dang, that's tough. That's tough. But yeah, for me, it's Galaxy. Galaxy is just awesome. I appreciate you doing Galaxy for me. This is really cool to watch as we are recording the episode. Like,
so I'm approaching this with the so we have a style guide behind the scenes.
Mm-hmm.
And it's more of a digital painting kind of style. So the Spark It card is more like just my style.
Right.
And I've always wanted to know how to do like this kind of, like with the Galaxy here, right? This like lineless painting style.
Yeah.
And the style guide I learned something I've always wanted to learn. So that's how I'm approaching this one here.
Like, it's really cool to kind of get some, like I said, just some insight and some like introspective into like the behind the scenes of how stuff is done. It's really cool.
While we're talking about Galaxy, where you're a little newer, did you know, trivia time, that where is it? This iteration, with the little tendrils on his tail, that was the first iteration. But everyone said that it looked like Kyogre's tail, so we changed it.
I think I've heard that said somewhere before. I don't know if it was in conversation with like some of the playtesters and stuff like that, or if it was actually stated in an official video. I can't remember exactly, but I think I do remember hearing that.
I don't think it was like stated anywhere. We just know what happened because his tail's not like that anymore. Like, imagery with him with that old tail was used for a little bit.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So is there a favorite card art? Not necessarily card, but like a card art that you have.
Not that I can talk about.
Okay, so it's coming.
It's coming. It's actually coming pretty soon. We got I won't say any more than we've got a promo card coming for something, and it's so cool. I love the art on that card. Hopefully it'll come out soon. It should be out and available by the summer, I think is the plan.
Okay.
I won't say anymore. I won't say what it's for, but I think people are going to love it. Oh, and the stuff we're doing for Shattered Stars too. Again, I can't say anything specific, but you guys are just going to love it. You in particular, I will say you're going to love it based on what you said.
That makes me excited. I just, for me, it's like, I've heard it from you as well. A-Drive said that after the stained glass, the Shattered Stars is going to be absolutely ridiculous. And I'm just like, how do you top marble statues in stained glass? I can't wait to see it, because I'm over here like, this is like the coolest card art I've ever seen. Ever. Like, the design behind the stained glass cards is perfect. Like, I mean,
absolutely.
Like, I've seen stained glass done in other TCGs, but it's just not the way that it is done in Shattered Stars. It is so incredible. It's perfect. I mean, like, down to the T. Like, the actual stained glass, just the shadings and the different saturations that are in the pictures themselves, and then
in like the glass panes.
And then the foil pattern is also kind of shattered in like a stained glass. That's one of the things that got me. Like, not only is the card art stained glass, but the foil pattern is as well.
Yeah.
And that just makes the card so beautiful.
Like, I remember that actually when A-Drive had to pick the holo pattern for the stained glass card. Like, he posted little videos of the samples in the staff server and said, what do you guys think? And we picked it.
That's cool. So y'all had multiple different foil patterns picked out?
Yeah, there was like a sample book, I think is from the manufacturer, like what they're capable of doing. And then we add like the little icons and stuff, like the little Shattered Stars. But like the specific style of the holo. Yeah. That's how that's done.
That's cool. Like, it's so cool to like get that kind of like insight into like the design down to like the actual like foil pattern itself. Like, that's crazy that there's multiple designs that go into it.
It's funny, like A-Drive always talks about like if you had told him like 2 years ago this much goes into making a TCG, he might not have believed it, but a lot goes into it.
Yeah, and I would have never known if it wasn't for Illustrals, because of the transparency of A Drive.
Yeah.
And his willingness to let us know how it's going, because like the amount of stuff that's had to happen, like especially when he was explaining like the whole red tape crossing for like the plushie bags, I was like, that sounds like a headache that I don't even know if I could have handled that. Like, oh
I'm
my
glad I didn't have to
gosh.
deal with it.
You're just like,
Like,
oh my.
like I designed the new plushies, but I
Oh
don't have to
yeah,
deal with
I was
any of
gonna
that.
ask you about that as well. Like, how does that go about? How do you go about designing a plushie as opposed to like actual like line art and paintings and stuff?
I'm going to open on my other screen so you can't see it, and I will actually show you one of the plushies design sheets. Since he's coming soon, I will show you the one for, where is he? KKK Cryoling. There he is. Yeah, so the first plushie I designed, actually, I believe it was the Panzer that you see in the background of some of Dan's videos.
Uh-huh.
Only 3 of those were made, one for him, one for his daughter, and one for Deathly. He's the one who, like, that was his create-a-card Kickstarter boy. And then I designed a Nectar, who was a disaster. And then I tried a Maya, which came out okay, but when they shipped it to A Drive, they shipped him 3 samples. They had no stuffing.
What?
And yeah, flat Jataya. So this is why it's been really nice to have a publisher, because we have someone who can translate and talk to the factory for us.
Right.
Yeah.
That's so crazy cool. Like, so you got to design it in 2D and then kind of make like the models and scaling of different angles to incorporate into making the plushie itself.
Oh, I actually have some pictures of the Nectar. He was a problem.
Wow.
At one point, they had the snake head, but at one point, we tried to communicate the shape for the fire on top of the head, and they changed his tail. Like, I don't know.
Got you.
Yeah, so I made those plushies, and then we switched manufacturers, and Dan said to me he wants to do kind of like what Pokemon does with Sitting Cuties, but with Alestrals. So, oh, I can't show you the sketch because it's got the unrevealed spirits in it.
Yeah, let's not do that. Let's not do that.
But yeah, I just sketched them. He really liked the style. Like, first take, he really loved it. So I've never done toy design before, but this is how I did it, and apparently it worked. And so you can see we put the art as the main reference, but we have to include some degree of measurements. We have to include for the colors the Pantones, which, if you don't know, that's the color system that manufacturers all around the world use. So we can't just say make it blue but a little bit of green. You have to find the Pantone number.
Okay, so you have to find that exact number for the for the shade or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. And that's a little tricky too, because what you see on a monitor, it doesn't necessarily translate to real life.
Oh yeah, it never does.
So, we send a color, and most of the time the colors have been pretty on point, but sometimes they're just off, so we got to try again. I was actually looking to see, because there's like a physical Pantone sample book that has little cotton samples of every color.
Mm-hmm.
It's $3,000.
Holy crap.
It's 3 books, I think, but yeah. A Drive was not willing to expend that to the company right now.
That's fair. That's entirely fair.
Yeah, so it's just a little trial and error.
But this is crazy cool. Like that, I love it. And to me, based off of just the 2D model, that translated extremely well to the final product.
He's one of my favorites.
I absolutely,
because they really nailed it. This new factory, new manufacturer, they've been so great to work with, honestly. Like, so like they'll send back the sample, and we will make little notes like, here the tail wasn't quite long enough.
Yeah.
And there was another one where they kind of changed the shape of the head a little, and I think it's this one. I really like the head shape on this one, and you got to make these spikes a little bigger.
Mm-hmm.
So they send us photos, and yeah.
Yeah.
And I try to help out too. Like, I knew his horns were kind of a complicated shape, so I offered maybe do it this way and it'll work. And they had no problem with the horns.
That's
So
awesome.
that was great.
No, it turned out amazing. Like
I can't wait to hold it in my hands.
Oh no, me too. I'm so excited. I'm gonna be hopping on top of those. Yeah. I wouldn't say I'm a collector per se, but I mean I collect Funkos. So yeah. I have Funko Pops, and now I'm collecting Elestrals. So I have like my binder that has almost all of the Kickstarter cards in it, minus the full arts, of course, because that's a process.
It is, yeah. I have the full master set, but I don't have any Stellars.
Ah, there you go. The Stellars. Oh my gosh, the Stellars.
And the reason I have a full master set and don't have any Stellars is I pulled one Stellar Viserys and Distant Coder bought it off me. And he paid me some of it in money and some of it in the cards I needed for the set.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know Coder likes to bling out his deck.
Mm-hmm.
I think he managed to get all the Stellar Elichics. I'm not sure if he managed to pick up the Tech Tauruses yet or not, though.
Stellar Chick.
So that actually leads into a good segue. So the Stellar designs, is there like a separate process for those as far as like figuring out the color palette that y'all want to use, or and like the alt art variants? Like is there certain like criteria specifically needed for the Stellars, or is it just the same as just designing the regular cards?
Well, as everyone probably knows, A-Drive kind of made his fame being a Pokemon shiny hunter.
Yes.
So this is a man who knows the difference between like a shiny Gyarados and a shiny Gengar, right?
Yeah.
Or Pikachu or something. Like, no lame Stellars. We're not going to have any lame Stellars. Nothing that's just 2 shades darker,
Yeah.
Sometimes it's the original designer, but sometimes he presents the Elestral to just one of the artists and said, can you design a Stellar? And they'll pitch a bunch of ideas, and we just pick the ones we like, or we pick it and say, oh, I like the fur on this one, but can you make the horns from this one? Can we see what that looks like? And we get a little more freedom, too, than, Pokemon would ever give their artists, like with the Galaxy.
Yeah, Mikey did an amazing job on that.
He did.
That is literally like the moment that the reveal for it came out and this was the one that was chosen, I was like, yes, because this was the one that I wanted to win. And it took my favorite card to a whole new level. And now, even though it's a promo, it is still my favorite Stellar. I love the design of it. I love the way it worked out. And I love that A-Drive actually let Mikey do the art for it as well, not just the color palette. That's so cool.
Yeah, and he was fine with us incorporating like a galaxy pattern, like stars. Like the regular, he doesn't have stars all through him. His galaxy twinkles a little.
Yeah.
But Mikey put stars on this, and A-Drive said, yeah, that's cool. Do it.
It really offers like a unique Stellar design compared to like the other ones, because it not only adds the changing color, but it adds in it's like the galaxy sparkle like really like bleeds into the actual Elestral itself, and exactly. That it's so cool. It's so awesome, and I love that he does like the fan design Stellars. Like he lets the community go in, do their own shadings, do what they want to do with it. I really love that take to like get the community involved at a more baseline level, because like it's so cool to see like the community design Stellar cards that are going to be printed and used,
Yeah, for sure.
Bex, I think that about wraps it up. Is there anything that you would like to say before we sign off here today?
Oh, there's so much to be said.
But can it be said? That's the question.
Oh, that's the thing too, isn't it? I will say, because I've kind of talked about this, and I was told I was allowed to reveal it. The first Elestral that's totally my own design will be in set 4 as one of the starter deck mascots. I hope everyone loves him and buys his plushie. Wink, wink.
I'm buying all the plushies. I don't know about the other people out there. Me personally, though, I'm copping every single plushie.
Oh yeah, I love the plushies too. Like I'm a plushie collector too, and what's been really fun is being able to put a bit of my own style into it. Like the way I drew the eyes on these, like my husband mentioned it to me, like that's really my style. So the plushies look like something I designed, you know?
Yeah, that's so awesome too. And they just nailed it too. The fact that they were able to use like the different materials too for like
Yeah, you
the
saw notes
yeah,
here.
you saw like the little can the fabric be shiny? And I love that. And they were able to do that and use like different fabrics for like certain parts of it to make it functional and make it appealing. And honestly, I'm excited. I'm super excited to get these. Like I'm excited for Frostfall, but like the plushies I am also super excited for.
Yeah, and the plushies that are coming up are so good. So good. Our manufacturer is amazing. And our publisher is amazing. Like our press liaison. Like I said, I could just go on and on. But yeah, so I guess that's all I had to say. I love being able to contribute. You will see my contributions more as it goes on.
I cannot wait. I really cannot. You said that and I'm just like, oh, here we go. Here we go. Gets me even more pumped for set 4.
Oh yeah, set 4 is so cool.
I'm so excited for that. I'm super, super excited for set 4. But anyways, Bex, thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to be here with me today and discuss the behind the scenes of the Alestral's art and how it is done, and even provide your own artistry with your own take on Galaxy here. This is so cool.
Try to finish this up at some point, but I have 1,000 tasks to do.
That is fine. This is awesome. If you ever do get this completed, you should just DM me the picture so I can have it.
Yeah, of course.
But awesome. Thank you so much, Bex. I really appreciate it. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed. We will catch you on the next one. Peace out.